Welcome back to Let's Play Deathmark. Let's continue. Oh, door to room 502 is locked. It's a locked door. Keyhole doesn't look rusted over. I could open it if I had a key. I just realized. Wait, what? Let's go run down trail. Which floor are we on now? Is this the 4th floor? It's like, well, yeah, 5th floor leads down to the 4th floor, but, we couldn't get the 4th floor because, the stair has just kept taking us to the 3rd floor, but I guess from here it doesn't matter or what? This is the one, right? Yeah. Metal hanger, the top of it's bent out of shape. You know what? Idea hits me and I take out the bent hanger. I should be able to bend this into any shape I want. I bend it into one straight wire so it can fit down the drain. I stick it in the pipe and move it up and down. I hear the sound of dirty water being dislodged and hit something hard. Got key to room 502. On the key is a tag that says tool exit. Oh, sweet. That'll come in handy. Good thing it wasn't washed down the drain. Yeah, that would have been a pain in the ass to try to get it back, wouldn't it? Yeah. There are sticky white threads wrapped around this key too. Seems like they stopped it from falling all the way down the pipe. Cobwebs, I take it. Yeah. So do that again so I can do this. Yeah. Use key to room 502 on the door. So it's kind of like the room on the 3rd floor and the other room on the 4th floor. Wait. We back up. Okay. 3rd floor is like a preview of the, weird bondage room. And then you get these rooms for the 5th floor, I guess. Don't have the chains though. It's a broken wooden horse. There was a broken wooden horse on the 3rd floor as well. It's like it was treated pretty roughly. The horse is lying on its side. I go to lift up the wooden horse, and I do notice something catch the light. Pick it up and discover it's a metal tool. So, it's a mouth speculum. It's usually used for medical purposes, but some maniacs use them for other things. Just as I'm replying to much there, a white light flashes before my eyes and I black out. Get ready for what was censored. I hear someone sobbing. My eyes should be open, but everything's pitch black. Shake my head desperately and try to look around. I guess this is a similar scenario to back in chapter 5, I think it was. It's the previous chapter, where we saw the origins of the Cannon Soldier from Spain. I desperately try to look around. A horrible image flows into my mind. What is this? Young girl is blindfolded and restrained. I'm not sure if this right here is the image in question or where it's going to switch to the image in question. but it's all kind of like, you know, black silhouettes when it was more detailed originally. That's the only bit of censorship used in this game novel. I'm not fully sure why. Maybe because of the, you know, implications of the scene being a bit more, you know. But we've had some weird suggestive CGs that were just left in, and I guess those were fine, I guess. I mean, the only thing I can think of why this would be censored is the context. A young girl is blindfolded and restrained. Her mouth is being forced open with that tool. Her breathing is ragged. She must have been given a drug of something. Let us commence the judgment. A man speaks theatrically behind him. Should I ham it up then if he's going to be theatrical? The court has decided to give the accused a fair trial and will judge her crimes. The trial will now begin. I can't remember. It's kind of because if you watch Manly Badass Heroes playthrough, he has it uncensored. So you see the CG. I can't remember if the spider was more detailed as well. It might have been. But it doesn't make sense why you'd have the spider more detailed. That's not the thing to censor in its context. Because her mouth is being forced wide open, and it looks very suggestive, I suppose. And they're gonna drop a spider in her mouth. You don't see the spider go into the mouth like that. But the context of all this is, you know, dark and overall fucked up. So, but I guess, you know, you like at previous CGs, you had that woman tied up in a kind of suggestive bondage-like way with thorns and roses and stuff like that. And then you had Moe, you know, strung up by the thorns and stuff in her underwear for whatever reason, with ginormous breasts that you wouldn't expect. And then you had that one in chapter 4 where you find Hero for the first time. She's like naked, covered in snakes. I guess maybe they looked at that and it's like, no, that's a bit more artistic, or at the very least tame, compared to mouth forcefully opened wide and having the spider dangle in front of it. I shall put this spider in the accused's mouth, and if it crawls out, she is guilty. If she can swallow it, she is innocent. This makes absolutely no sense. It makes... I mean, you can't make sense of it. It's some of the stupidest logic. Upon hearing that, the girl starts circling around frantically. Her movements haphazard. She desperately cries for help. Her words are garbled from fear of drugs. Oh yeah, and I guess you got that out of the context too. The fandom wiki for this game has this character right here. And he's basically, you know, high schooler, but it's listed at 18. They're still very young, so in a suggestive way like that, maybe they're like, and you know, the fact she's also been drugged as well is your men jeering, and a man releases a giant spider into the girl's mouth. So I guess that silhouette was her then. Ah! Hey, get a hold of yourself. Yoshiki, can you see me? The spider, get it! Get it! Idiot, calm down. With a slug to the jaw, I finally returned my senses. What, did he punch him in the face? He's like, I'm not just gonna give you a slap to get your senses, you know. Which would be a bit more reasonable. I'm just gonna full on punch you in the face, potentially knock you out or break your jaw. That's right, I'm in a room at Masquerades. In the vision I just saw. What did I see? I went somewhere. You haven't gone anywhere. You just fell on the floor and started writing. I feel like I've woken from a long dream. I can't believe that was an hallucination. Finally calmed down. Yeah, I am fine now. I wiped sweat off my forehead and sword. Can you imagine if after he did that, he's just like, he feels like something crawled in his throat. He's like, oh, that girl who was restrained, was that Esco? I'm not sure if we ever actually learn her full name. If it is so, then was she unable to go to the police because she was caught by people here? Fucked up, isn't it? Detective Coven. You know, I wonder as well. Like I said, the fandom wiki has her age at 18. I wonder if that's like was actually the case or not. Maybe she wasn't, and that's why they were like, oh, well, even if she was 18 and all that, the context of it all is still overall fucked up, and they'd still be like, we can't remove the scene because it's kind of integral part of this chapter. But at the same time, you know, talking that the color kind of like, censor it. That it's anything more than a fake prop, but it looks well made. Its placement makes it look even more real than an actual one. I mean, when you think about it, the other, you know, risque kind of CGs, they didn't really have this weird kind of, well, they did actually. The first one anyway, had this kind of weird sexual vibe to it. It's like suggestive. But in this case, you know, she was, you know, drugged up, her mouth forcefully opened, restrained, and had a spider shoved in her mouth. It's definitely more fucked up than the context of any of the other CGs. Its placement makes it look even more real than an actual one. That it's anything more than a fake prop, but it looks well made, much like the other ones. It makes it look even more real than an actual one, blah blah. I'm the lid of the coffee. Got a book about the junk inside. Got human encyclopedia. The book has pictures of various demons and demonic crests and lists their characteristics. I guess you're really interested in stuff like that. It's like, yeah, the other book, you know, we went into a bit more detail on that. Regular demons, yeah, who gives a shit? It's just to add context that these people were into, you know, darker cults and weird torture sexual shit. Have you wondered why I keep doing this? It's because, I mean, I think it happened already, didn't it? That scene where, like, I think handprints appeared on the door. I can't remember if there was anything else that happens in one of these doors here. Top is covered in dents and scratches, too many for it to be natural wear. Going by the appearance of the room, horrible things probably happened here too. The shelf stuck to the wall. It's lined with hairdressing products, cologne and lotion. Some of the bottles still have a bit of liquid left, but most are empty. Jack threw all the bottles on the shelf. A bath salts and insect repelling cream. When we get to the end of this chapter, I'm going to be like, oh god, do I remember all the details of what you need to do to survive? I hear footsteps as I step into the hallway. I turn in the direction of the noise to see you. Of course, everyone has to make a cameo appearance. Sho Nagashima is standing there. Master said he ran into him at the hospital, but I can't believe you came. Sho, what's the matter? Take a step towards him, but Master stops. Wait, something's not right. I look closely at Sho's face. No, it couldn't be. His face is unnaturally stiff. I mean, he always looks like that. Suddenly he begins yelling angrily. He's always like that as well. I have voice acting now! He has a CG! Second CG in the game deck. Raise the metal bat he was hiding and moves him to attack. Bakashiki! Master yells, urging me to escape, but we're in a hallway with closed walls. What should I do? It's trying to live or die. Can't remember if it's duck or dodge or could be duck covering my head. I don't think that was the right choice. Show bats alter his course in flashback difficulties. So we're not dead yet, so yes. I can't remember if it was dodge to the left or the right. Straighten is only to swing his bat again. I mean, because how could you predict that? Wait, actually. You could probably predict it based on his stance. He'd be swinging from our perspective, swinging to our right, so left. I don't know. Swings on and swings back again. Shit! I have my hands full with just trying to get away. There's no way I'd be able to straighten. It shows like hero and is infected with the safest policy. Back to restraining what lies later. Can't do this alone. I do. Shit! Shows the ring guy burn a hole. Punch him in the face. I don't think this is the correct option. Let's try for a counterattack. See right through. Show easily dodging some that down. Deliberately got that wrong because I want to hit my theory of questions. Happens in a flash. After that, all I know is endless darkness. Pretty lame, game over there. It's like, yeah, he gets hit by the bat and then sees darkness forever. Game over. Nothing fancy. I mean, the only one where there's very few game overs that are interesting. Like that one where, you get the questions wrong the first time you encounter Red Riding Hood. And you get that CG. And it's only on screen for like a second. But it's like, oh, that's interesting. I am angry. Quickly dodge to the left. Show bats alter its course in a flash and heads straight forward. The tip of the bat hits the wall and narrows. Safe on his tracks. You can save on spirit power for getting that right. Straightens only to swing you back. Shit! I have my hand full with me trying to get away. There's no way I'll be able to retreat. Shows like hero infecting me with 6 poison. Have to restrain him more life to hit. Can't do it slow. What do I do? Shit! Just your age eyes been holding me. I can't remember if we distracted. My chances are thin no matter what I do. My only choice is to draw his attention. Show has 6 for a moment. Confused, no way trying to go like that. A second later. Dumb if you don't know when to give up on that. You dummy, you don't know when to give up, old man. Metal bat flashes on his head, and then you're the beats. Master suddenly appears next to him and throws a direct punch at his face. So yeah, we basically just had to dodge, and then, you know, draws attention to us so that Master can sneak up and punch him in the face. Safe! Anyway, this might be the final part of this Let's Play. Survived. I'm not sure how much is left of this chapter at this point. Show tumbles to the ground. As he falls, his bat flies through the air and... Yeah. Unluckily for me, it collides into the side of my head and I collapse with a pitiful yell. Dumbass. Dumbass. Cursing Master quickly grabs Show's arm and completely restrains him. As Master puts his weight on him, Show groans painfully. Finally he faints. Hey, Yashiki, you okay? Yeah, just graze me. I sit up and gently shake my head back and forth. Thankfully, everything seems fine. And give me a hand. We need to carry him out of here. It's probably like the others now. We better hurry. To think Show would end up as the third victim. Managed to make myself stand, but my spirits have dropped down to my feet. Wait, what? Yeah, spirits. Still sprinkling outside. We drag Shaw to the hotel. Finally, we have a chance to catch our breaths. We'll call up the investigation for today. Yeah. Banshee and Hero flash before my eyes. But Show's safety should come first. Let's go ahead and bring him to the hospital. I'll go get the car. Good idea. Yours is bent for moving sick people around. I take out the car key and stand up. But just as I do, a piercing pain runs through the side of my head and I fall back to my knees. Yoshiki! It's just a headache. I thought I had got away, so I got hit where it hurts. Just rest here. Rest there. Show. You're injured too, so take it easy. I'll take that Shiva in my car. You wait here until I get back, Thomas. I'll get straight back after I drop it off. Sorry, Show's in your hands now. Master collects Show and disappears. And just like that, the soft pitter patters of rain permeates the area. The sound of the rain seems to make this place even worse now. But more importantly, then I noticed something. Well, this is not the only thing that's vanished. Pain is gone. The intense headache has faded like it never was. It's happened to me twice before. Hold on. Now I'm suspicious. I think back on the times when I had a headache. The first is when I went inside Masquerade with Diamond and Banshee. Back then I'm pretty sure. I wanted to keep everyone together. Then I had a headache and Banshee up and disappeared. The next headache came the following morning. Trying to go see Hero and Banshee. And just now. I going to the hospital was showing us. I guess at the entrance to Masquerade. It's like, you son of a bitch, are we really gonna get the final part here? Maybe I have to do an after Alfie talk. I mean, for God's sake, I gotta record the room decorations to keep the record session consistent. Couldn't have happened at a later part. You're the only one I want to see, so. That's what Red Riding Hood said. I stare at the hotel as if I couldn't see the doors. Feel like I could see a red figure inside. One rainy night, a girl stood there wearing a red raincoat. Still waiting even now. The one you expect so much. That headache always attacked when I was trying to stick with other people. I stopped crying and stayed by myself now, and it will vanish like a dream. It's never there. Yes. Hero, Banshee, and now Show. I've got my friends all caught up in this. That's right. It's all my fault again. Come alone. So, do what you will. We go back inside Masquerade. A voice calls from the darkness as if it was waiting for me. What are you telling me to do? Those of red with you, people listeners. Top floor in the room of masks. Top floor. The floor was listed on the guide, but it was impossible to reach. I'll be waiting. Red Riding Hood's figure melts slightly into the elevator. You know, it really does make me wonder, you know, voice actors and voice actresses. What it must be like for them, you know, recording some lines. You know, especially, you know, and you've got different types of, got sound novels and visual novels. I'm not really sure quite what the difference is between the two. Like Higurashi, who's like sound novel, but also visual novel. It just seems weird, because it feels like in their early days, when they were becoming a thing, they were called sound novels. I think. Which, you know, makes a bit more sense considering, you know, I've seen some of the older novels that were on like Super Nintendo and stuff like that. They didn't exactly have the most interesting of visuals, but they didn't exactly have the most interesting of sounds. Sure, you had music, but I don't think they had voice acting. So why call them sound novels? I mean, you had visuals, but you know, a lot of them just have like kind of silhouettes of people rather than, you know, detailed, you know, characters like you'd expect from visual novels today. But anyways, the point is, you know, you got different types of visual novels. You got like ones like this, where it's, you know, it tells a solid story, and you know, it doesn't have any, well, as we've seen, there is a bit of suggestive sexual content, but it's not like full-on explicit, you know, sex scenes. Basically, the point is, it must be super awkward for the actors to voice those scenes. Just like, okay, now your next line is this, but you know, imagine you're having sex and make lots of exaggerated noises because it's expected. I mean, can you imagine one of those scenes and it's actually, you know, not done over the top, and it's just like a bit more normal rather than getting like loads of screams of like, oh, this is so good, blah, this and that, you know? actually sound like they're, you know, not trying to wake up the whole neighborhoods. Anyways, but yeah. Must be super awkward to voice act that kind of stuff. But Riding Hood's figure melts silently into the elevator. She does, the elevator's floor display begins blinking on and off erratically. Combination. You know it, don't you, sir? Sensei. Her voice reverberates throughout the elevator. So she's telling me to go to her. This combination. What in the world could that be? I'm gonna tell you right now that the combination is linked to these. Did it say anything before that? No, it didn't. He hasn't acknowledged that this is the key. You gotta examine each portrait and then put them all together where you find them. First floor. And, well, what did this one say? Picture a masculine wearing a wedding gown. You've got to get them in order, right? Of how the events play out. And then you use that. You go in the elevator. Well, actually, let's get in the elevator right now. Maybe you'll actually acknowledge it. Spirit vanished into the elevator. I must be able to use the elevator to get to the top floor then. The floor display begins to blink on and off erratically. That's some kind of hint. And that word she used, combination. I stare at the elevator buttons. Maybe I'm supposed to push these in a certain combination. Exactly. If I press the floor buttons in a certain order, I might be able to get to the 6th floor. But what's the order? I've got no idea. I've got to think. There has to be a clue somewhere beside this point. Waiting for his adage. Elevator puzzle. So, isn't there a thing called like the elevator game? Well, it's not necessarily the case here because this is like it's a bit of a combination. But isn't there one where I like press a bunch of different buttons or some shit? I don't know. But yeah, the VIP room has a special combination, and it's linked to those portraits. You gotta get the portraits in order because it's clearly, you know, each portrait is showing different points in a person's life. You've got to do it from the earliest to the latest, and which floor you find them on is basically the combination you need to use. See if he actually acknowledges it yet. No, he doesn't. I guess it's basically just like, remember what Banshee said when he looked at it? He's like, yeah, this looks like it has to go in a certain order. It's like if you weren't paying attention to that, you might be a bit lost at this point. Let's look for the earliest points. Gazing at a man, that's not the earliest point. This would be before the wedding. So, know that much at least. I think this is the last one, isn't it? Yeah, that would be the last number entered, so that's 3. Mass running down the hill. Okay, let's try to place this together here so far. So far, the order would go 4, 4, 4, 4215. But we still got another one to look at to get the full context of what it should be. Holding hands with a child. Okay. So the one running down the trail, I guess it's basically... Because the run down the trail one seems a bit weird. But I guess it's like... Basically running down a trail, meets a man, they fall in love, get married, then they have the child, then they grow old. I've already forgotten what floor. I think it was 4th floor had the trail one, right? That's 4, 2, I think? 4, 2, 1, 5, 3. 4, 2, 1, 5, 3. I think that's the combination. But we will see if it was correct for the next boss. It's a bit of a short part, but you know, we're gonna be getting the endings here, and it'll make the video much longer. Gonna save that for the next part, which might be the actual final part of this Let's Play. It's like, I don't want to have the final part right here and now, because it'll just make it a pain in the ass to edit. You know, what I might actually do is, you know, some point between, you know, the next record session for this, maybe I'll just get the after LB talk recorded in advance, because you gotta, it's like, you know, it's like a schedule. Well, it is a schedule. It's like, because the day after this record session, I'm like recording for Room Factory Oceans, and it'll be the exact same thing when I record next for this. So it's like be a kind of a pain in the ass if I have to additionally write out a script for after LB talk and edit it all together. I mean, nobody gives shits but me, honestly, with this stuff. But you know, it's just what it has to be, because I can't even remember the first one I ever did of those. And if you've never seen any of my Let's Plays all the way through, After LB Talk is basically what it, you know, sounds like. It's talking about the game and all that at the end of the Let's Play. Where, like, in character of my channel mascots of sorts, which are Echo the Dolphin, who I give this kind of goofy voice to. I don't know why, but he just kind of stuck. And then I got the evil blackboard, which originated way back in the day in my canon Let's Play. Where, I mean, it's kind of weird. I'm not sure what part it was. The one that sticks out in my mind, because I made a separate clip of it in my canon Let's Play. I'm not sure if I uploaded a separate clip or just kind of like edited a separate clip of it, because I found it's kind of amusing. Where it's just like, get out of the classroom, you itchy. Also like that, and he's like, sharp, he's like sharp blackboard or something. I can't remember, but it's like, because the blackboard was actually a green board, so it's like, but I'm actually green. Basically, I put on that voice for the evil blackboard. And it does a number on the throat. I hate doing that. That's why I always have to have a drink nearby in case I'm like, ugh. Seriously, it's... I mean, even back in the day when I originally did it, I would, like, my voice would kind of not crack necessarily, but it would kind of go, yeah, because, like, tickles the throat, that voice does. It's kind of like, you know, what was that? Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget kind of voice. It's like, next time, Gadgets, I will fuck you up. I don't know. But, you know, between the two, Echo would be like, you know, it's basically kind of like me just basically, you know, talking in characters for these mascots, but basically, you know, let's not even be really talking about the game so much as it is, you know, just having interactions between these random characters, you know. It's like Echo's the positive, upbeat one that, you know, is like leading the after Elby talk. Blackboard's like the, cynical one that kind of annoys the guests all the time by talking shit. And it's one to bring up if there's any flaws with the game. It's like usually the Blackboard pointed out. Konatar, Zumi, who acts nothing like the actual character itself. I have as like the kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Why am I even describing all this shit anyway? It's just a bad time on the video at this point. Which makes no real difference to me. It's like, oh yeah, trying to get all that money, monetization. It's like, no. Even if I did monetize my videos, it wouldn't get any views enough to actually be worth a damn, would it? Anyways, Karatar's kind of like the, down-to-earth kind of, looks at it in a kind of, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for to describe that? I guess more thorough with it. Echo's, like positive. Evil Blackboard is negative. Although I say that, but I always have the Evil Blackboard ultimately go, yeah, it was alright, I guess, at the end of most games. One exception being my Let's Play of Clock Tower to the Struggle In, which probably one of the best after LP talks I've ever done because of how short it was. It's just like, this is basically the exchange. It's like, what do you guys think of the game? It fucking sucked. Totally. Well, that's all, folks. And that was it. All three characters basically saying, yep, that game was a bit shit. But Kontar's kind of the, like, more neutral, kind of like, one that I'd use to be like, basically go over things. It's like flaws and the pros and the cons equally. It's kind of the go-to character of the three for that. While Echo's like, I'm the host, and I am usually upbeat and positive about everything. And the Evil Blackboard occasionally chime in to be a bit of an asshole, usually to the guest character from the game or novel that joins in on the After LB talk, and, is more likely to point out any flaws in the game. It's kind of a weird, thing overall, but, I've mentioned this before, I just remembering. Basically, the inspiration for that in the first place was the Higurashi series. Because in the question arcs, you have all the characters kind of out of character, but in character at the same time, discussing the events of the story that unfolded in the arc. It only applied to the question arcs because the answer arcs didn't have them. But that was all cast review sessions. I really liked them, so I ended up making my own kind of version in a way. So that's basically what the After Albic talk is. Now that we got that out of the way, did I actually save? In all your incoherent rambling, you didn't even save the game. You fool. You could have closed the game and not have saved. How foolish of you, sir. But yeah, that'll do for this record session. We will get to the grand finale, either in the next part or the part after that. Probably the next part. I just can't remember. The ending does kind of drag out a little bit, but not much. And I want to show the bad end first. I don't know. Should I? Well, I'm going to do both endings, but the difference between the bad end and good end is very, not much of a change, really. Basically, just like the fate of the characters that have, been poisoned differs depending on how you vanquish Red Riding Hoods. It's not quite as detailed as the other chapters where, Spirit is angered and your partner just gets absolutely killed. Absolutely killed, yes. I mean, you don't really get CG for that, but there's even less in this chapter, because not only do you not get CG, but it's kind of like told by in passing, because, you're not even there with any of those characters, you know? It's a bit anticlimactic. But anyways, I'll see you next time, viewers. See you next time.